I feel like I don't need to give a message. It's been given. Thank you very much. Shine on, everyone. And now may the words of my mouth and the meditations of all of our hearts be truly acceptable in your sight, O Lord, our strength and our Redeemer. Amen. When I met the Reverend Dr. Fred Whitten, I thought he was someone special. And I really didn't know how special he was until I read your hymnal and saw that Fred was a collaborator. That makes him special in my book. I hope you don't take this for granted. It's a wonderful piece of work. If you haven't read it lately, please, I encourage you. Well, life is full of tensions. Is that true? If there's someone who doesn't believe this, just raise your hand and we'll follow you. But we will only deal with one of those tensions in the next few moments. Even though Matthew told me that I can speak for as long as I want. I'm going to talk about authority and responsibility. It seems that these two concepts get confused. Like some believe that responsibility and power are the same thing. And question, is there really a juxtaposition? Is this problematic? Are you wasting your time even bringing up the subject? Well, when these concepts aren't clearly differentiated, because I believe they're different, confusion, conflict, and yes, even death occur. So, what is it? Authority implies a function or a title. A function or a title. It has to do with things, like projects. And I always say, yes, I lived in Canada 15 years. I say projects. Has to do with things like projects through which a person is authorized to make decisions. Where responsibility implies getting things done through a relationship, not things. Responsibility implies relationship. I want to give you a more vivid picture. And I've conscripted a member of the choir to come and help me. And thank you very much. And what is your name?
My name is Jack.
Jack?
Jack.
Was promised he would not be hurt. But I told him I'll pay him later. Jack, will you stand here, please? Were you a good student in school? What was your favorite subject?
Recess.
I thought you would say gym.
I was good in gym too,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I would like for you to help with an exercise, if you would. I'll explain it. It's very easy. You stand with your feet just a little apart. You put your arms out, shoulder length, drop them to your side, drop them to your side. Okay. And now, Jack, with your right hand, move it slowly towards your ankle. When you feel the least bit of stress, stop. Thank you. Okay. Very good. One more time. Arms out. Drop them to your side. You did that very well. As you move your hand down to your ankle, okay? Bring your ankle up. Good. So, Jack, you can stand up now. Why didn't you do that the first time?
It's a little early in the morning for instructions.
Well, you were a very good student in physical education class, and your gym teacher taught you that the proper way, the only way to touch down there was to keep your knees straight. And you obliged. You remembered that. It hasn't been that long ago, though, I know. But you remembered that, just like we all do. And what's interesting is, while that had a bearing in gym class some time ago, it had no bearing now. But it still ruled you. You still, if I had asked a child to do that, a child would have gone, but we do it the right way because we've been taught. But is it the right way? It was the right way only for that class, right, Jack? And you've been a very good object lesson for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
And just so you know, Jack, I'm not done. I will ask you to come back one more time. We stay stuck sometimes in things that we have been taught in the past that have no bearing today. But when we live in that, it keeps us from reaching a goal. We may still reach the goal, but it will be with more difficulty because it's instilled in us. And I can say, Jack, that teacher probably knew your name, but may not have ever been to your home, probably didn't give you birthday gifts, probably didn't give you any kind of gifts except gifts that were given to everyone else in the normal scheme of things, probably liked you, but probably did not love you. And yet, you remember what that teacher taught you so long ago, even though it had no bearing today, and it could keep you from reaching a goal in a much easier way. That teacher was given a responsibility, Jack, to teach you. I'm just preaching to Jack right now. To teach you something. But you gave, just like most of us do, power to that teacher, so that that teacher had power over you today. And it's very interesting how that plays out in so many parts of our lives. You can relax now, Jack. My brother Donald is a twin. He has a twin sister. She's my sister too. I'm a twin. I have a brother. My mother had 7 kids and 2 sets of twins. So my mother, if she knew someone was expecting multiple births, well, everybody around them would just love them and ooze them and say, way to go, and how excited this is. My mother would tap them on the shoulder and go, and she would say, I'm so sorry. Well, we were close. Donald, 5 years younger than I, is gifted in music, playing the piano, and he sings beautifully. Donald was asked to perform on a local TV station in Pittsburgh. we all sat around the TV to watch. And we were all filled with pride. When Donald's performance was finished, he was interviewed and asked, "Who or what was your inspiration?" And Donald said quickly, "Well, that's easy. My sister Mary was my inspiration. She was my role model." And he was asked to explain that. "What did your sister do to inspire you?" "Oh, Mary sang all the time. She sang when she got up in the morning. She sang as she vacuumed. She sang as she took me for walks. She sang as she pushed me on a swing. She sang as she washed the dishes. She sang before she went to bed." So I figured if Mary could sing, anybody can. And my heart sank at that moment. Nobody knew it. I didn't sing again for many, many years. And my brother meant no malice. He simply stated something that was true. I gave my brother power over me and felt that my talent wasn't worth much. That what I gave was very, very, very common. And so I believed in that instant that when people would give me compliments and accolades, all of a sudden to me, they were like filthy rags. They weren't true. I didn't sing again for many, many years, but came to understand that I gave Donald, my brother, something that he didn't want. He didn't ask. He didn't take. I simply gave over my power to him. We all have power, whether we realize it or not. Margie has power. The choir does everything Margie tells them to do. If you watch, none of you will stay seated when she tells you to rise. She even tells you when it's okay to open your music. She tells you when to come back to sit. She tells you when to speed up and when to slow down. Margie has power. The person in the pulpit has power, and that person right now happens to be me. If I say, "Shall we pray?" I can watch most of your heads bow.